all the old storyboards for Halo 2, including the last level of the game, which was called Earth Arc. The short answer is the last level of Halo 2 contained many of the ideas that became Halo 3.
Halo 2 Earth Arc, a mission that has circulated amongst the Halo community in the past. The original file of Earth Arc, or what's left of it, was uncovered by the Halo dig site team back in October of 2024. Now everything that was discovered in that half-baked Halo 2 mission was finally released to the lesser folk, the public, me included in this. So I was finally able to explore what's there, and it's really not much, unfortunately. However, this overall lack of context for this mission led me to dive deeper into Halo 2's Earth Arc, and I eventually do find some more on this mission later in the video. For now, though, let's talk about what we can see. At the initial start, we are greeted to a desert off in the distance from New Bombassa. Sliding down the sand rock cascade, we are greeted to the original structure of Earth's arc. As the pylons start to reach towards the sky, I believe something was meant to launch or land in the middle of this thing based on how this arc opens up. Furthermore, into the arc, we're greeted to a couple of Covenant Phantoms, and not one, not two, not three, but 4 Scarabs. And y'all thought the Jackal snipers were bad in this game. Imagine this mission on Legendary. We can only see some race on the pylons in this gulch that you were meant to walk up or fight towards to reach the central part of the arc. Next, I want to talk about the storyboard that ties along with this mission so we can get a better understanding of what we're exactly looking at here for Halo 2's Earth Arc. Now, we also have what I presume to be the original storyboard for Earth Arc on Halopedia, and I'll go through that right now. Keep in mind, I have not covered the entire Halo 2 Earth Arc storyboard, as some parts are not entirely relevant to my findings. However, the full thing is on Halopedia, and I'll put that link in the video's description if you are interested. Now let's start. The first panel shows Covenant artillery, or those Covenant anti-air cannons seen in the earlier mission. And the next panel shows a Covenant cruiser on its way to the Earth Arc, with the battle taking place below. The next panel shows Master Chief landing near the Marines, and all of them turning to look at him. Or farming as usual. The Chief orders the Marines to charge up that hill to see what they're up against, leading us to see what I like to call a sea of brutes. Hundreds of them in front of the Dark Dome. I haven't seen this many apes crowded together since 2020. Anyways, we can see that the brutes are angry. When aren't they, honestly? If I looked at this chop, I'd be mad too. In a more important panel, we see more of the Ark and a group of Covenant cruisers above this Ark. These cruisers fire on the brutes, glassing them. The Master Chief and Marines look in astonishment. Was this friendly fire or their newfound allies? The next panel shows one of the 7 pillars of the Ark rising from the ground. The camera would focus on this pillar rising towards the sky. Identical pillars begin to rise as the Covenant cruisers from earlier cast a shadow on the Earth's Ark. The Covenant ships begin firing on the Ark's pillars, hoping to destroy it, as the Master Chief turns to see a squadron of Phantoms headed his way. These Phantoms continue to approach him. We get a POV of inside the dropship, and we see more of the Earth Arc as it continues to awaken. Miranda Keyes is in one of these dropships, and the squadron of Phantoms continue to push towards the Arc and fly down at the crevice near the Arc. Skipping ahead, we see the Arbiter confronting the Prophet of Truth. The Prophet gives his speech as the Arbiter fatally shoots him. Later, we see the Monitor, or 343 Guilty Spark in this sense, and the Master Chief as he guides him on firing the 5 rings. It then pans to an outside shot of energy shields circling the Arc as the pylons or pillars beam currents to one another. These pillars then shoot up an energy beam into the sky. Firing the mechanism has caused it to destroy itself. We can see the Arc begin to crumble. We see the energy flares depart into slip space, and then we see the Arc crumble in on itself as the Arbiter and Master Chief go separate ways, both escaping. Now there's more to the storyboard, but for the sake of relevance, I'm not going over them, and I don't want to spoil it for you. If you want to find out what the ending was to the Halo 2 Earth Arc or the original Halo 2 Earth Epilogue, I would highly recommend checking it out on the Halopedia website. Now that we've gone over the basic arc, the structure of it, what's in the game, and the storyboard, I want to talk about the inside and the possible exterior of the Arc and what it was meant to look like. Now, from what we can gather from this very screenshot that I was able to pull from using developer mod tools for Halo 2, the same way that the Halo dig site team was able to uncover the files for Earth Arc, we can assume that this image is taken from inside the Scarab on the first layer of the Arc, presumably from a cutscene the way Master Chief here is positioned. We can assume that the initial base of the Arc is dull, maybe somewhat similar to Halo 3's Arc, the one that's all the way in space. However, with more sand or mud staining the Forerunner metal, something that resembles the landscape of the African desert in New Mombasa. We can see Halo 3's Arc, however, we can see something off in the distance that looks like copper or bronze plating, and the geometry here is slanted inclines similar to the other arcs or installations in the previous Halo games. For the lower sections in this arc, it's anyone's guess. We can say they mimic Halo CE's library mission, since the elevator in the middle is similar. We can also say it would be like the early missions in Halo 2, with the Arbiter chasing and killing the heretics, since many of these doors and wall accents were reused to not hoard safe space on the engine at the time. We can also take inspiration from the arc in Halo 3, since as previously stated, this Halo 2 mission inspired that game. We take the shape and purpose of the Halo 3's arc and scale it down to fit in the African desert. Since the Halo 3's arc is built to build, repair, and fire the Halo rings, we can assume this Earth arc is smaller. And we can see that room outlined in the storyboard, so we can assume that the inside of this Earth Arc would be different than the library and look more like a forge, while still having those Forerunner fabricators seen in the other Halo 2 missions that spawn the little robots that like to laser you. The inside space of this arc would be well lit and have a spiral structure based on the circular central elevator that goes throughout the installation. There would also be a part in this arc where the Prophet of Truth gets confronted by both the Chief and the Arbiter, so maybe a boss room is well placed in this arc on the lowest floor. Now that we have the storyboard mapped out the inside of this arc, or what it may or may not look like, I want to talk about the enemies on this Earth Arc mission. And now we need to consider the amount of enemies per section on this map, and we're going to do this using basic math. Across all 15 campaign missions in Halo 2, a full playthrough typically yields 1,500 to 3,500 kills, depending on your playstyle and what difficulty you play on. Easy, yielding the 1,500, while Legendary yields the 3,500 enemies. So there's an average of 100 to 233.3. That 0.3 will probably be a grunt in a wheelchair for the sake of brevity. So with the known Sea of Brutes at the start of the mission, the 4 Scarabs, 2 Wraiths, potential Banshees, we have a lot of enemies at the start. Start with the tanks first. There are 2 at the start, so that's 4 enemies to the potential limit of 100 to 233. Next is Scarabs. Each Scarab has a precise amount of enemies. We can find this value from the Halo 2 mission Metropolis. On that Scarab, there's 9 enemies total, so 4 Scarabs each with 9 enemies, that's 36. Our count is now brought to 40. Phantoms are considered enemy AI. Phantoms are considered enemy AI, and you have to use mods to kill them, so I wouldn't count these 2 Phantoms for the counter. I'm not going to count the friendly Phantoms that fly in at the start, because these are marked as enemy Phantoms. However, each one can drop, 9 to 14 enemies, so the potential of an additional 18 to 24 enemies can be dropped off as support in this mission. Taking the average of the 2, we can now have a count of 61 to our 100 to 233 enemy limit. Now, the Sea Brutes mentioned that starts running the Earth Arc in the storyboard doesn't have an exact number. However, these brutes get glassed in this cutscene, meaning they are not counting towards the total number of AI in the mission, saving me a headache from counting them all. However, there would be ground enemies on this arc, since the Covenant from this in-game footage we have shows that they already have a presence inside the arc. Now, this next part is just my initial guess, but I'd say there would be squadrons of brutes, hunters, grunts, and jackals defending this elevator in lower sections of the gulch. I'd say 6 jackal snipers, 12 to 14 grunts, 15 brutes, and 2 hunters, making the total count 97. Just enough room for the Prophet of Truth and his 2 brute honor guards that accompany him and that we see in the earlier Halo 2 missions. However, this mission does not end on the surface. The thing in the middle is a platform that lowers similar to the elevator in the Halo CE mission The Library, leading me to believe that there would be more Covenant than just the lowest verge, just the lowest average number of 100. Also, we know that this final mission inspired Halo 3. And what happens in Halo 3 in the city of New Mombasa? That's right, the Flood. Now, our enemy count just went up to at least 200. There would most likely be a small patrol of Covenant inside this arc, say 7 squadrons of 5 brutes, grunts, and the occasional jackal here and there. We also know that in the Halo 3 ODST Legendary Ending cutscene, the Prophet of Truth is seen with buggers. Now in Halo 2, the buggers spawn in clusters of 17 to 20 based on your difficulty. That's a total count of 155. And now I'd say the rest of that 233 enemy limit that we talked about earlier would be filled with 80% being different flood types, and the other 20% would be sentinels, or more of the Covenant based on the type of Earth Arc they may have storyboarded or created. Now with all that being said, that's going to do it for this video. I lack the proper mod tools to fully make this campaign mission, so all of this is the blueprints and the speculations. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. You know, I saw this Earth Arc mod. I heard about the rumors of the story ages ago, and I was like, ooh, okay, I don't want to be like every other Halo YouTuber and just show off the boring, unfinished first layer of the arc. I wanted to add on to it from what I know and what I could find. So hopefully this is different than what you're used to, and hopefully you enjoy this type of video. And if you do, let me know. And with that being said, thank you for watching. That's going to do it.